Welcome back. In this video, we're going to implement calculating the BMI using US units, which means we will need to use a different formula. You see, dividing weight in pounds by height in inches squared, multiplying by a conversion factor of 703. So yeah, it's quite complex. The metric system makes it a lot easier, but let's just implement it. You can try to do this yourself, of course, but basically speaking, you need to get the data. First, you need to validate whether those edit texts are empty or not. If they're not empty, then do the calculation and then display it. Okay, so let's go over to our code, and something that will be very easy will be to validate. Basically, we need to do the same thing as we did here, but with the other edit text. So with 3 edit texts now, instead of just 2 edit texts. Okay, so I'm just going to paste it in here, go over it real quickly. So I'm validating the US units now. This is a new method. I'm going to set isValid to true by default. Then I'm using this when statement. When this edit text metric unit weight, which is this one here at the top, is empty, or this one is empty, or this one is empty. In either case, I'm going to set isValid to false, and I'm going to return isValid. So it's going to be true by default, but then depending on whether one of them is empty, we're going to override it. Okay, so now we need to do the calculations. So let's go ahead and create this new function that I'm going to call calculate units. And first I need to check which view is currently visible. So if it's the metrics view, I just want to do the code that we did once we clicked on the button, I believe. Let me check. So we have this, yes, on click if validate metric units here. That's what we're doing. Okay, so let me take all of that and put it into this method where we calculate the units, or we calculate BMI basically. Okay, so we validate if the metric units is true or not, and only then are we setting up all of those values, right? And then we calculate the BMI and we display the BMI result. Otherwise, we're displaying that there is nothing to see. Okay, so that's one thing. But then if we are in the other view, which means we are not in the metrics units view, but in the US units view, then we want to validate once again if the validate US units, so here validate US units, is true, and only then do we want to get the height value in feet. So here, US unit height value feet, which will be a string. We get that from our edit text US metric unit height feet, and we convert its text property value into a string. Then we do the same thing with the height value. So I'm going to do that with both height values. So we're doing it with both values here with the feet and inch, and then we're also getting the weight. So here the weight value will be a float. We're getting it as US metric unit weight text to string, and then we're converting it into a float. So here, let me put it like this and put this into the next line. I think then we should be good to go. Okay, so like this. Okay, now we have the values. The problem is we now need to calculate the height value, and the height value is in inches and also in feet. But 1 feet or 1 foot is a 12th of an inch. So we can calculate it using the following formula. So we say the height value is going to be the US units value in inch, which is a string. We convert it into a float, plus the US unit height value in feet, which is in a string, and we convert it into a float as well, and we multiply it with 12. Okay, so this will give us the height value, because in order to calculate the BMI, we need to, as you have seen, multiply with 703. And what do we need to multiply? Well, the weight divided by the height squared. Okay, so the height value times the height value will give us the height value squared. And we take the weight value and divide it by this, and then we take the 703 value to get the BMI. So whoever came up with this, congratulations. So then we can now take this BMI and display the BMI results with that BMI. And if we do not have the valid US results, we can display this else block that we have here as well, which will just give us a toast text like so, which says please enter values. Okay, so now we just need to call this method calculate units once we click on the calculate button. So all the way in our onCreate, we have this button calculate units set on click listener. Here we need to calculate the units. So I believe this should be it. Let's just try this. So let's go over to the BMI calculator, weight, which will be 156 in my case. Height, I'm not very tall. What is it? It's 5.5 or like 5 and 6, 5, something like this. Calculate, and we see we have a similar BMI than I had in the metric units. So if I enter 71 with 169, then we see, well, it's not exactly the same, more or less, right? So that's the thing with feet and inch and everything. But yeah, basically you see our application works now flawlessly for both ways. And now, instead of just having the BMI calculator here at the bottom, I would like to also add a history of my exercises. So that's what we're going to do in the next video.